All right, we're back, guys, and getting into TLO versus Bly. And you might be thinking, Rifkin, why? Oh, why didn't you pick the TVZ when you just mentioned how much you love TVZ? And how much we know that this tournament's going to just be ZvZ from this point onward? Well, we don't know. Nurchio just left really quick with Keen. We're assuming they just got into the game ASAP, and that may have had to do something with dodging the stream, or maybe they're just really anxious to play. I don't know, but regardless, we will be able to catch them a little bit later as we cast both semifinals matches for the Corsair Cup. So the winner of this plays against the winner of them. So either Bly or TLO advances to play against either Nurchio or Keen. And I will tell you, I really hope, first off, Bly isn't AFK and gets walked over. But more importantly, I would love to see either TLO really show us crazy stuff versus Bly, because I think Bly's a tough opponent for TLO. But more importantly, if Bly wins, Bly versus Nurchio is actually a really great rivalry that's had a lot of different results over time and resulted in really good games too.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom side of the bracket, though, you got Lily Canine still fighting against Gurus, so Terran Hope there, Stylish and Fear, Terran and Protoss, so not all ZvZ just yet.
No, I'm sure people will be disappointed to hear that Scarlet's out. But
Oh no, who'd she lose to?
a
Oh,
laser.
Okay, you're playing on a Laser's home server against a really good Zerg player. I don't think that's actually super crazy to consider.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are probably wanting us to cast her. Oh well. Live just won over Fear 2-0. Terran! No Protoss. Protoss is weak. Protoss sucks. Bye, Protoss.
I'm gonna message Bly on Skype. Hey dude, where are you? I guess TLO's been trying to invite him to the lobby for a while, not even just since we joined.
Ah.
Bly,
Hey, sometimes he does that.
Bly did win though his other games, those weren't walkovers, so hopefully he'll be here.
Yeah. A couple of names that are familiar in the bracket. I don't think we've ever cast Art or I'm Data.
Stylish advances over Fear as we're speaking, so there we go. I think we'll have it'll probably be ZvZ top half of the bracket, and at this rate, maybe TVZ bottom side. JD Toss has got to get back to work. Nice seeing everyone today. Have a good day, man. I know you won't hear this because you're already gone, but take care. Unfortunately, there are no other matchups to join right now, so either we sit here and Bly gets super AFK'd, or maybe he comes back, or one of the other matches becomes available. A Laser versus either Guru or Lily Canine, or Stylish, aka Alive, versus B-Lord or Blue Cheese. But right now, we don't have any options because the 3 available games, none of which are able to play. So it's a little bit awkward. By the way, I was playing some Overwatch last night with Nathanias off stream, and I felt so bad for him. I know that he had been to a football game with In Control and all those guys, right? I think Rotterdam with them too, and they were tweeting pictures, and it looked like a good time. But what he was telling me about was that I guess there's no shade at all, so he's super crispy sunburn, and I felt so bad for him because I hate sunburn. It's the worst. Being sunburned is slow torture.
Yeah, I mean, I've been sunburned before, but I'm usually either when I was younger, I didn't get sunburned because I was lucky, and my parents made sure that I wore sunscreen. I used to hate wearing sunscreen, going to the beach.
Oh, I know, it's just so gross. You had to slap yourself up. Yeah.
Yeah, and then especially the feeling after you've been in the water and then drying off near the sand and going back into the car when it's super hot outside. That was actually the worst feeling in the world for me. So I remember doing that as a kid. It's not so bad now that I'm an adult, but anyways, now I'm super paranoid of my skin because I did a bunch of stuff to my face for acne-wise. I am always covering myself. I do the whole every hour put more sunscreen on.
It's always cool seeing the UV. Have you seen when people put sunscreen on under UV?
No.
It's actually really cool because you definitely look these up because it looks like they're painting black face mask on or something. It doesn't look like sunscreen, so it shows how effective it is versus ultraviolet lights. Anyways, Bly's finally joined us in the lobby, guys. So we're gonna have a ZvZ TLO versus Bly starting up in just a moment. TLO, I'm a little bit worried on for the series, right? So I talked a little bit about the assumption Bly would advance on here, and this mostly comes because TLO did just recently lose to Lambo, who I would say is also not the craziest ZvZ player, but not a bad one. Either way, I think this will be a Bly favored match that TLO can win, is how I think I will describe that.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'm a little uncertain as TLO's consistency right now, so... But I mean, I'm also concerned about Bly's. I actually have no idea how this is going to go.
Well, that's what makes these fun games, because if we knew how these would go, there'd be no point casting it, frankly.
Hey.
I will say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I really hate casting games that are predictable. Like, it's super hyped to cast Innovation, but I don't want to see them play against low league Masters North American players, right? Like, you want to see good games, I think is the point of StarCraft 2.
Hey!
This might just be one of those. Early pool on the bottom right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Team Liquid's TLO.
The top left as the Red Zerg, he is Bly.
TLO is also the last Team Liquid standing member of all the ones that signed up for today.
Yes, he is.
And just in case you're a newcomer to the stream, first off, hello and welcome. Consider following the channel, but also, if you need the brackets at any point when we're casting events, guys, ! brackets in chat will always link you to whatever brackets are available. So whether it's a small thing like the Corsair Cup, a big thing like WCS, regardless, that's how you can find your info. Plus the other nice folks in BaseTradeTV are pretty keen on helping out when asked nicely.
Yeah, lately. So, it looks like... Okay, TLO's actually been doing this a lot lately, it feels, because that's when we cast him last time. So he goes for the Baneling form of this, which is to say, like, if you're really going to all in with gas, you're going to go for your speed and then your Banelings. If you're going to go kind of like halfway, you're going to go for speed, and then there's like the really non-committal way, which is go for no gas at all. But those are usually the more common ones, but TLO has been doing the Baneling with no speed kind of...
Yeah.
All in, but not, you know? So he can expand off of this.
This isn't even sneaky either. Like, he just went right down the middle of the map. He could have taken a side route, but I think the reason he went down the middle was he was hoping to intercept Bly, who would likely have his own lings as well. Not as early and not as dedicated, of course, but still his own lings nonetheless.
I really wonder if TLO... Well, I guess I don't have to wonder that. Like, TLO, on one hand, he can surprise his opponent because it seems that it's more popular to go for, like... the speed and then Banelings, or just speed. So some of the Banelings I think are a big surprise, but they also provide a lot more safety in the defense, where maybe speed, it gives you map control, but it's not like the easy peasy defense is like 1 or 2 Banelings. Not that that gives you an automatic defense either, but that was just interesting that he likes going for this specific way of early pooling.
Baneling's looking to get some good hits on the lings. Of course, for TLO, that's all he needs to do, zone out his opponent's army, and his own lings will do the rest, but Baneling on the ramp takes care of the rest of Bly's lings, and TLO could have gone to the main further. He doesn't know that there's a spine collar there, but goes for the natural instead. In fact, he's seen nothing in the main. So this gives Bly time to finish up that spine, and now he's going to move it down? That's risky.
Yeah. At this point, I think he knows there's no speed with it, too. I'm, like, not 100% sure, but he didn't go for his own speed either, which actually, the last time we saw TLO, as you were talking about versus Lamboy, I guess it was, like... there would be speed following it up for the defensive player, and that would give them like control back, and TLO would have to emergency go back home and build some Banelings. But looks like he still has to go home and build some Banelings.
Yeah,
he couldn't do much more.
My worry on that is, did he really get enough for it? His hatchery's a bit later. He didn't really get ahead in drones. If anything, I'd say this opener led to a position where the game's more evened up, just minus the speed difference. Oh, actually, no. Bly's still not going for his own speed. You're right, yeah.
Yeah. Because that is one thing. Like, if he got speed, he'd have a few less drones, I think. But they're both now getting speed at a similar drone count. So you're right. Like, I think it just really evens this game up. Bly has, like, a bit of a better income for a little bit longer. But it's, like, 200, 100 difference, it seems. We don't have grass because they made the game. But just looking at the income here.
I just tried to do that as well, by the way.
Yeah. So it's interesting that TLO likes this specific version, I suppose. You know, I don't think there's anything bad about it or anything like that. It's just that it seems that TLO likes it more than any other Zerg.
I think the part that needs to be emphasized with this too is if Bly had played anything other than ultra defensive, you know, if he didn't have those 6 lings out right away, there's actually a fairly good chance he may have actually died to TLO's attack, and TLO could have really followed in followed up, excuse me, with an all-in. But oh, that Baneling looking for a pretty good hit gets most of the lings. One barely gets out.
Yeah. It really is eerie how close their speed's gonna finish. Both going for Roach Warrens. Now, TLO hasn't gone for an Evolution Chamber quite yet, so Frozen Temple can be tricky. Like, it can turn into a very, you know, ZvZ Roach War game, but sometimes it can go to, like, you know, a secret spire behind the Roach wall because you do anticipate them going Roaches. Sometimes it can turn to all-ins because it's a shorter map. You might think they're going for macro, but they actually, like, boom, suddenly 12 Roaches. Usually, if you get the upgrade, you're not going to be all-inning until the upgrade's close to finishing, right? So for TLO to see that moving and grooving, I think he's going to figure he has some time. Doesn't have to super worry about being attacked, but Bly is getting quite a few Roaches.
Yeah, TLO's attempt to go for a third, I mean, it was scouted, so Bly knows there's at least that much money not going to be invested in an army.
Yeah. I do wonder, though, like, Bly is still going for it. Neither of them have speed, so them being on the map like this shouldn't kill either of them. But I do wonder if, like, either one of them start droning. Like, of course, TLO sees that Bly has not taken a third yet and should be worried. Like, yeah, he saw the Evolution Chamber, but where's that third? Finally, it goes down, but a good minute or so behind his own. Lair comes in first for TLO. Now he's getting his Evolution Chamber, which is what I was wondering about. So he will get +1, but just at a much later time. But he's going to have faster speed, which can be very helpful. Sometimes not helpful at all if there's going to all-in you. Which Bly might be looking to do.
Another problem that goes with this is that +1. It's not going to be too effective right away. But if
I really like the... Oh, okay, I like this, yeah.
I was just
getting this scout in the main base, seeing the lack of a lair, I feel is going to tell TLO, like, oh, okay, I need to prepare for an attack.
Well, TLO's +1 a little bit. Man, he cannot hit this Overlord for jack all. Bly's just patrolling it too. It's not even like he's micro.
Amazing.
Anyways, the +1 though could be a good way to break this ramp. He will have it timing-wise on his side. He'll have a big enough army number that +1 should be beneficial. Normally we see +1 on like half this for a roach count, and it really doesn't mean anything. But killing that Overlord just now is pretty important. That took away high ground vision, so Bly can't engage up the ramp so easily. He's got to move in that other one.
Yeah. The Banelings are, like, this is a choke, right? It's a choke and it's a ramp. You know, they give the high ground vision, but also just all your units are clumped up. The Banelings are surprisingly scary, yeah. They are very helpful.
They might not do bonus damage to armored, but any amount of splash is good in this situation. Now, Bly's going to try and be clever and use the low health roaches to make full health ravagers. A smart idea to maximize the use of his army, but as he does decide to try and push up, that +1, while advantageous, is about to be gone, as TLO's going to have his own +1 shortly as well. In fact, the longer this postures, the worse it's going to get for Bly. Moving into a concave at the top of the ramp. Defender's advantage as well. Baneling's popping off for a bit more splash. Ravagers do got to back away from TLO. He's actually trapped in by his own roaches. Bly's going to take a really nice aggressive start to this fight. But his army's so low. Like, it really just, it doesn't feel like it's going to overcome Defender's advantage anytime soon.
Skip doing the thing again. You just go.
Alright, well, Roaches, of course, once again, like 1-shot, 2-shot, dead for most of them. Lings flooding across from Bly, going to get on top of the low-health army of TLO, but once again, TLO's army at the defense should be able to focus on these 1 or 2 units that are almost dead, pick off those Roaches before they become Ravagers, focus fire on that Cocoon. Drones get pulled into this, a little bit messy, but he doesn't lose too many for it. Really, not many drones have died at all this game on either side, but good defense so far out of TLO, and it ends up being 10 drones ahead for it. He's about to have 7 more spawning in a second. But were those 7 drones too much? His army is still much smaller than his opponent. So while 1-1 may have been equalized, Bly's still just going to all in. Lots of roaches. Just every bit of larva, every reinforcement is going to be army supply. And as he moves on towards the 3rd base, drones get preemptively pulled, so... don't die, boys! TLO's just going to run for his life. I guess Bly wants to give chase to these. He doesn't have speed, so running off creep, not looking like it's going to work out too well for him. But there's also nowhere for TLO to take those drones. They're actually just going to... It's like... I'm trying so hard not to be racist with this, but was it the Jews that wandered the desert for, like, all those years? It's kind of like what these drones are doing. They're on, like, this quest for salvation. It's not going to happen Roach is try and save this. He's going to get out of this with 3 of them alive. Meanwhile, Skype's still messing up, so I'm going to try calling Zomgrim on my end and see if this works for her. Whoop! You guys hear the phone call noise for a sec? Boop, 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 ba-doop, boop. Beep.
Hello.
Hey, welcome back. Good to have you.
Here.
Maybe it's just your connection for hosting today for whatever reason.
Maybe, but it was a...
99% of the time, my connection is absolute balls for hosting. But if it's the one day it works, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Skype, fine. What do you? Anyways, there's like a lot of things I want to talk about, but like it just basically ends up being like kudos to TLO for holding. Basically like TLDR for the last 2 minutes for me.
Yeah, I guess... Well, one point I want to finish up on, sorry, real quick, is like, even though he lost all his drones and they made that weird adventure through the Iceland desert, like, he still ends up having so many more drones to fly for it.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is bad.
There's actually a couple of roaches here, but yeah, that's a lot of lings. Sort of if he restarted speed, but it's almost done now, but it can't really help you against overwhelming numbers.
That, and I think he was really distracted. He wasn't ready for this. This drone's just kind of still with the army supply control. GG. Bly takes the first game.
Wow. I kind of didn't expect that. TLO had such good scouting. Like I think he was prepared for it, but it was one of those things where you underestimate your opponent after you've held.
That, and there may have been a little touch of greed. He was putting out a lot of drones in a lot of these fights instead of just pumping out like pure roach. And it's not a bad idea. I think the logic is like if he can keep defending evenly but get ahead in drones, then he'll eventually get ahead in army. But that may have just been taken a little too far or a little too early.
Yeah, I agree. Next map's going to be Galactic Process.
Okay, hopefully we'll get the BaseTradeTV mod for this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for hosting, joining.
You're welcome.
Oh no.
What?
You invited me as a join. Incoming lobby bug? No. Okay, nice.
You're good. I need to get TLO in here though.
Yeah. Man, I wish we had more Protoss playing today. I'm wearing the most Protoss shirt I possibly can, and we got no Protoss. Feels bad, man.
What shirt is that?
It's my Patience Parting Chicken laser shirt.
Oh, what an amazing shirt. I forgot you had that.
The worst part is, like, it looks actually fine at a distance on camera like this. But if you get close, you can see how terrible of a job I did cropping. And, like, you can see the little bits around their hair and stuff. And it's a terrible, not good shirt. But it's my favorite one I've ever made. This shirt's also got perhaps the biggest price tag to it because I tried to rush it out so we'd have it for when Patience and Party were playing in, like, was it Lima League or something? I don't remember.
The 2v2?
I don't remember what it was, but the point was I got it rush shipped. I had to pay customs fees. This shirt that should have cost $20 and maybe 10 for shipping ended up costing like 50. It was, oh god, worst waste of money, but best shirt ever. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back into the match. It's game 2 in this best of 3, and spawning here in the bottom left side of Galactic Process, it's the blue Zerg TLO.
In the top right, as the red Zerg, he is Bly.
Alright, so Bly, it's nice to be up 1-0 versus TLO. This is not a small no-name player, and it's a pretty good guy to be up a game against. But as we said when we got into this felt very much like this would be a series that Bly would likely take, but TLO could win under the best set of circumstances. And I still feel like TLO's was a solid game in game 1. And small mistakes, little bits of greed, those are easy things to correct, I feel. So we'll see if he can and if that'll allow him to overcome Bly. This time no early pull either, by the way, so that's nice too. Small update to the brackets though. After this, the winner, sorry, not the winner of this, downside, bottom side, excuse me, Stylish, aka Alive, finally did win out over Fear. So we may have him to follow for Terran at least, with good measure.
Yeah, it might even be a TVT if Blue Cheese wins against B-Lord.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, last of the Terrans. Because I feel like Keen's not going to win against Nerchio, but maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. I don't know, the ZvZ's really not that bad. Okay, guys. Alright, just chill. It's a fun, it's okay matchup.
President Luthor. I hope that never happens, but nice name. 26 months. Over 2 years. 4 more years?
I mean, would that be worse or better than a Trump presidency?
I don't know. Evil villain versus comic book fictional character.
Hey-oh.
Actually, I've always considered that. At some point, there's going to be a coincidence of somebody having like a really unfortunate name. And I don't mean in terms of like offensive. Like your name's not going to be
But
gay
like, your name's
porn
Jesus.
or anything, right? But like,
Or Gaylord.
or Gaylord Fokker, right? Are you good? Is there ever going to be a point where we have somebody, either whether it's political or a celebrity, they have a name that's so ridiculous or so tied into like a comic book character? Like, who's to say there won't ever be a Bruce Wayne, the greatest jazz musician of all time? You know, like.
I'm pretty sure that does happen. And
Oh my
I
god!
think
If he was, oh hold on, if Bruce Wayne, the jazz musician, paired up with a scat band, he'd be like Bruce Wayne, the Scat Man.
Wow.
Beep bop bop beep da boo. Beep beep bop beep da boo.
That's true. He would be. It's a good, excellent point.
Bibbity shibbity bibbity bibbity boo.
On that conversation, Galactic Process was TLO's map choice, and I don't know why exactly he chose this, but this can be a very easy third base to take. But third bases in ZvZ is always, you know, it's questionable because it. Yeah, okay, you can drone it, but most of the time you're going to want to try and do a little bit of ling pressure or ling scouting at the very least, like test your opponent, make sure they're not getting too greedy as well. And that's actually what Bly is doing, but he's also getting a Roach Warren, so I would say if he had 3 Overlords on the way, I would be like, okay, he's going to all in, but he's actually going to be supply blocked if he tries building Roaches. So this might just be ling pressure into droning with the Roach Warren as a follow-up if TLO, you know, responds really well and then counterattacks. Which, actually, TLO can't respond that well because he skips speed. So, yeah, he needs his wall off.
It almost feels like a bit of an overreaction, but a necessity. And the thing for Bly is he actually doesn't have to attack here. He might even be better off attacking the rocks instead of this front wall, but TLO gonna keep building, gonna keep re-walling, and while there's not a lot of transfuses, there will be given enough time.
I think he's fine. The thing is that Bly is not reinforcing as well, so keep like to him, this is only it's time limited, right? If they can't break through now, then there's no point in it. So I agree. You should probably just go break down the rocks, force the queens to move around at the very least, and constantly be paranoid. As of course, TLO's only just now getting units out. Of roaches.
It's funny though, because if you had fully walled off, you would have had to kill one of these Evo chambers. This actually almost worked out better for him this way now, because he could just move the spine cars out of the way and utilize both Evo chambers.
And now we'll have a wall off for later, because of course Bly, you know, there's the argument, right? TLO saved 100, but not going for speed, so he might have a few more drones, which he doesn't, or faster roaches, which he doesn't. But he does have a faster +1, so there you go, 100. But Bly actually has speedy units that can run around the map, and once Galactic Process gets its rocks broken down, I mean, I think all Protoss players know how, like, difficult it can be facing a Zerg player with speedlings, so a Zerg player would be the same deal if they don't have their own.
Yeah. Well, the rocks, and I guess the Overlord Vision, thank goodness for that, are enough for the Queens to get their shots off and push Bly back. However, TLO is moving across the map. My concern is this is such a small amount of roaches, and while Bly might not have a lot of units of his own, this is something easily surrounded and easily killed.
Yeah. Oh, Bly, he's still going to go for roach speed, so I feel these mutas should be just, you know, 8 or 10, maybe 12, and then transfer back into roaches. But this is the safer way to go for mutas. It's not off of 2 bases. You're not only depending on lings and maybe some well-timed spines. In fact, Bly not even really needing these spine collars he's getting because TLO's not moving out right now. But he's going to be able to get to that spire is the point. And he's going to take over map control, which he already had with the speedlings, but like doubly so with mutas. And now I'm just worried, like, hey, is TLO ever going to scout this or even think about that as a possibility? Because the only thing he's seen is a Roach Warren and the speedlings. So this speedy overseer coming in here, it's like a flippin' rocket, is going to scout the spire.
I'm gonna have like the Speed Racer soundtrack ready. Like I know the Gauntlet guys do the silly stuff with the rocks. I just want to get like obnoxious like Speed Racer music when we have like really awesome moments like this.
Yeah, I never really watched Speed Racer, so I'm not sure what that sound is.
Oh man!
Can you try and replicate it?
Actually, for those like taking it one step away from like those who have the nostalgia of the original Speed Racer cartoon, I know it got a lot of hate and it was visually ugly because the CG was terrible, but I loved the Speed Racer movie that came out like 2000 with like John Goodman or whatever.
I heard it was very fun.
It was a terrible movie, but it was very fun.
Yeah. Well, the rocks are broken down here. Yeah, Bly's not really going to take a great trade. He doesn't have an upgrade, and there's obviously defensive advantage. He's not committing to this, but now the rocks are broken down. He can have an alternative path to get Lings in, and he's going for what looks to be 12 mutas? Yeah. With +1.
So this is something where I think TLO knew this would be a problem, thus the queen production kicks in, but I don't think he realized how much of a problem. There's not that many queens in play. I mean, he's moving towards infestors with fungal growths, and I love the idea of, like, okay, a corrosive bile with a fungal growth will kill mutas faster than anything else, but I don't know, I feel like rather than spore crawlers, lots and lots and lots of queens might be better.
I agree. Well, you know, it's one of the cases where it is 3 bases, so whereas Bly can like quickly transfer over into roaches, and he's not going to die to some push because he went for mutas. TLO also has a nice economy to get to both infestors and hydras, so emergency queen spore crawler defense is not so much an emergency this game, as he does handle the mutas pretty well. The fear, of course, is the follow-up, though. Like, while he's investing into all these high-tech units, because he's focusing on the mutas, Bly's just gonna get, like, this bigger roach army, and that can't happen. It's not so far.
He should manage to sneak some roaches into the main. That's kind of impressive, actually. That being said, most of them die in all for naught. As if this was distracting TLO enough that this army could push in, that'd be devastating and awesome, but as we can see, TLO's main army is still here waiting. Now, unfortunately, the infestors are not quite in position to help deal with the mutas, and those will get driven off by the spore crawlers. Not too shabby. Base might die, but there's a couple transfuses where the queens go. They went north, so the base is absolutely going to go down.
Yeah, that's a...
Or maybe not.
Wow.
What? He just saved that? Well, the mutas will come in, but that might be bait at this point. Get the fungal on the mutas. Oh, my God. That might just be it for Bly. All the mutas going to take the corrosive. Well, the corrosive bile's missed. But either way, the fungals hold them in place. The queen slaughter what's left. A couple of hydras spawn. It was messy for both sides, but ultimately Bly's left with 28 army supply.
Bly was banking way too much. I think his intention was to go up to a hive because he got an infestation pit and then go into ultras, but he was so tunnel visioned. He just had 2,000, 1,000 or something silly like that he just had to use on roaches as he realized, like, oh shit, I messed up.
Yeah.
Even without that, like, that was a pretty greedy bank to have.
He's shifting gears here too, where he's going to be going for tunneling claws, and I don't know if this was part of his original plan. It's something he's actually done enough that I guess that you could argue this was part of what Bly had planned all along, but he definitely didn't plan to lose the mutas at least this early. These really needed to be doing a lot more pressure. Like, it's funny now what 6 mutas are doing that like 19 couldn't. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he doesn't care if they die. He's like, I've already lost so many, I'll just go a bit YOLO with the rest. This does bring him a bit above TLO in the worker count, and the extra base is always nice to see too, but I don't know that he can deal with this ground army. TLO's upgrades, let's not forget, are 2-1 versus the 0-0 of Bly's naked roaches. There's hydras for damage behind it and infestors for support on top.
I really feel like, regardless of how the muta control went down, that Bly was playing kind of sloppy. Like, that huge bank, he didn't really smoothly transition into the ultras, because he actually had some time to get the infestation pit faster and to get the hive, which he never actually ended up getting.
Oh, that's cool.
And just in general, this feels like a bit of a game full of mistakes, I'll say, for Bly, and TLO just played a really solid game.
So you say sloppy out of Bly. I'm gonna almost just say reckless, because you could see like he had intentions and these attacks, like they're trying to kill that third base, for example, and running in and diving too deep. So, I mean, you're not wrong with what you say. I'm just gonna define it differently, I think, ever so slightly. Fungal growth locked the army in place. Not gonna be enough for TLO to get kills. This army stayed burrowed, so it's still alive. Bly also burrows on this side, but with the amount of spore crawlers that were actually built this game for the air, and the Overseer's down here, I don't think Bly's gonna get away with any of his tunneling claws.
It's like it's always so questionable to see a Protoss go for a Stargate build into DTs, because you're like, well, they're gonna have protection, so is this really gonna work?
they got cannons for your DTs and stuff like that, man. Like, what do you do? Whatever. Yeah. Spore crawlers as well.
So this is really not working out well. I mean, Bly, again, kudos to this guy who does this in every single game. It looks like he's going to lose. He made some macro mistakes, he made some micro mistakes, and then he just keeps on living, and you're like, well, I mean, maybe.
Somehow eventually brings it back. Yeah, but with TLO moving on towards Hive Tech, the fact that he has taken just really no severe damage from Bly this game. Like, the wall off at the start, The third base defense that was so clutch. I mean, there's just been so many good things here.
Look at the income advantage, by the way. Bly has been winning this entire time.
Yeah, but
so it makes
sense.
Makes his huge bank, you know, understandable, but unfortunately not being able to do much with that bank.
The income advantage makes sense, though. All things considered, TLO's been really investing in Army this game.
It's the way things are supposed to go when you have that type of control for the speedling Yuta player. You know, the faster fourth base, a few more drones, faster. It does make sense, but just like you see the end result of this game, and you're like, how did Bly lose? He's been winning the income war for so long. Well, a lot of different ways, a lot of different reasons.
Well, GG, and these are the type of ZvZs I like to see, guys. But that will lead us into game number 3. We'll have the final match come up in a moment. We are going to take a small commercial break beforehand, so 2 minutes, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much for tuning in. More of the Corsair Cup when we're back. Alright, we're coming back and just going straight into the game. Final map is going to be Dawson Station. And this will be like the one time TLO should really be quaking in his boots against this player. Because I don't know a single player.
Hey.
Not a good. Okay, that's interesting already. That tells us what Bly plans to do. But regardless of his pool for a moment, guys, he loves this map more than anybody we know. You never cancel Larva. It's a rule of playing Zerg, unless you're doing this in particular. So in the bottom right side, the middle bottom right, whatever you want to call it, it's the blue Zerg player Bly.
In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is Liquid TLO.
I guess, kind of forgot, Bly's on Team Expert now, I think, right? Is that the name of the team?
That's correct. Yes.
Team not Acer, definitely not Acer.
Definitely not Acer, just like Alliance. Ha! I'm just kidding.
Actually, that's kind of about as bad as my DreamHack intro of him. It's just like, is that Acer? Nope, not Acer, ladies and gentlemen. It's the blue. No, not blue. I will forever be haunted by Bly and that intro. God damn it.
I wonder if he ever went back and watched that.
I know he did because he made fun of me the next day when I saw him.
I just
Feels
figured
bad,
he heard
man.
about it. I don't know if he went back to rewatch her.
Oh, yeah, maybe he just heard about it. I don't know. But
Well, this is not a super committed early pool. And TLO did go for a pool first, because that's like, you gotta do that, right? You're facing Bly, it's Dawson Station, it's the last map. You know, that's just a safer way to go. What's interesting is he does go for the gold base, but it's always funny, like in a way this is actually like the best way to do things. You buy time for them attacking into it. If you do need to cancel it, you have that option. It's going to spread creep a little bit too, so you can get a spine crawler down there in an emergency.
Cats did something really cool. Normally we're used to seeing like the Ravager or the Roach chill on the outside of the gold base hatchery, right? Cats tried to build a spine crawler using his opponent's creep against him. I think it was Bly too. Actually, yeah, it was Bly on Dawson Station.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that was kind of a cool idea. I love the idea of that, but for those who don't know and haven't seen enough on this map in particular, anything on this side of the mineral patch with range kind of gives you early game control over this base. And as little as one unit can seriously police an entire mineral line. But man, TLO is really not messing around here. He pulled the drones to deal with this, and he's losing out quite a bit of money for it. In fact, look at that income craft. Just dive.
It'll be worth it as long as he doesn't lose any drones.
Oh, well, that might be a tall order, zombie group.
Right? He's only lost one so far.
Yeah, pulling away the drones at the last second. Clutch control. I mean, TLO is the guy who's also put drones in front of banelings before, saying, come at me, so he's been doing some crazy stuff in the past. This has been a tough defense. He's lost a lot of mining force, so I hope this is worth it for him in the end.
There's been spikes on both sides, as you can see in the income graph, so I think it's going to even out here. What's interesting, though, is that I was going to go into, because you brought up the behind the gold mineral stuff, we see a lot of Zerg players on this map, ZvZ, mostly, yeah, I would say. They go for very quick, like, Roach follow-ups, and they get, like, the Ravager thing going, and it's actually, like, a speedless game for some time, because sometimes speed just doesn't seem, I don't know, worth it over Roaches and, you know, the chokes and whatnot, but they're both going to be going for speed. They're both going for a Baneling Nest. TLO is going to get aggressive first, since he's getting the Lings first, and he's, you know, cut the drones as well, but Bly probably will be able to defend. Actually, the Baneling Nest is going to be kind of closely timed. TLO goes, like, right as it's done, and he got a Baneling ready to go. Bly won't have his own, he'll have to focus fire with his Queen. Oh, here come the Speedlings. There's the Banelings forming, 4 of them. And Bly doesn't have a spine crawler, he doesn't have a second Queen down here. He just, he still has the Lings.
Slowlings, though, in this close quarter engagement won't be so bad before the banelings come out, of course. But once the banelings are out, that changes everything. That's the Fire Nation attacking! Oh, God, he just took a massive hit! Drones get obliterated, too. His own banelings start, but it might be too late. There's one baneling left. Vanguards the rest. They run to the main. They're looking for drone kills. Not many left for Blah. Even if he comes out of this alive, it's going to be with less than 5 drones remaining.
Brutal.
Savage. 3 drones.
I mentioned some, predictions of a Roach game that Bly was a little underprepared. I think also he was like not 100% on board with going for speed and banelings and took a couple seconds to actually put it down. Because a couple of seconds really is the biggest difference here. A couple of seconds sooner seeing the lings, for instance. A different map, for instance. Cross spawn, and he actually probably defends. But a couple of different things not going in his favor. Down to 2 drones. Only hope is a counterattack.
I mean, TLO's got its own banelings here. There's just no way with 2 drones remaining. I love Bly and I love his stubbornness, but I don't think this is a game that any amount of determination can win. I mean, hypothetically, even if TLO ate that baneling just now, he's still got 10 more on the way. Bly's producing 2.
Yeah,
GG. Alright, congratulations, TLO. Takes the series. A little bit unexpected, but not by much. Like we said, this was a game where like TLO could totally win this, but it was like a little bit favored towards Bly. And now this next one becomes really friggin' tough, because as much as I do love TLO, he goes up against the best foreigner, in my opinion, right now, Nurchio, in the semifinals. And it might be on Dawson Station all over again. I think we're going to cast that one first, because Stylish and Blue Cheese only just recently started their series, and we do cast both semifinals. So ZvZ into what looks to be a guaranteed TVZ, into what I'm hoping is a TVZ Grand Finals.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Regardless, though, we're going to go to commercial break, guys, and we'll see you soon.